Hello, guys. Welcome back to Sports Kabri. I'm Rishi. I've got Adi with me, and South Africa have had their greatest cricketing achievement as of yesterday, and it's a great moment for them, which has been coming for a while now. They were very close to, uh, getting past the final hurdle. A lot of times they just couldn't do it, but yesterday, finally, they have done it at the home of cricket. They have beaten the big game bullies, Australia, comprehensively, and I felt this was a very entertaining test and it could have gone either ways. We have a lot of things to discuss: how the game went, what the pitch did, how the weather went about, how the players responded to the circumstances. So, straight off the bat, Adi, how did you feel going into the test match? How did you feel the did you feel the pitch was doing things? How do you feel the first innings went? Who do you feel primarily dominated throughout the test?
Bro, I think going into the first day, I think we saw how dominant Australia were in terms of, even though they didn't have a lot of runs on the board, they were still on top. You could see they got all the South African batsmen out early.
Hmm.
After day one, it really looked like it was going to be like a two. I really thought it would be like a 2 day, 2.5 day test max. Like, I didn't think it would go to day four at least, because the way, you know, South Africa responded after, it was what, 208, something like that in the first
212
innings.
was the first inning score.
Yeah, Australia scored around 212, right? And you look at it in one day scoring 212 in those conditions, I think it was still good. Like, I wouldn't say that was a bad amount of runs, because the way even Australians struggled, I was like very struggling to see where, even if Australia would reach 150, 180 at a point of time. And South Africa were lucky a bit, like they could have gotten Webster out earlier, and then the game would have been a bit different in the first innings.
Hmm.
But yeah, overall, like, bro, the the pitch was a baller's paradise. I think overall, even with, how the game went, there were a lot of drop catches, in the sense of the ball was going towards the slip, it was going towards the wicket keepers a lot, in terms of it was edging and going towards them. I think, I don't know if it was, I think they could have adapted a bit better in terms of just get the slip front. It's fine. Like, there were so many edges and it was just coming off in front. It was always pitching in front. I think they should have tried something different. I think Smith did that in the last innings, where he
The
came a
slip
bit
cordon did
front.
it because at the start of day they were the entire
They were
slip
all
cordon
back.
was practicing with their
Yeah,
helmets on,
yeah,
and that's
exactly.
ultimately how he got injured also,
Injured also,
unfortunately.
but I think that risk. I think South Africa could have taken that risk even in the second innings, for example,
Mm.
when we talk about that. But yeah, bro, I think overall that pitch was a baller's paradise. I think scoring 212, the way Australia batted, the way Smith batted, to be fair, Smith and Webster to an extent. I think even though Webster got lucky, I think that was where they made the most of the runs. Like, you saw it also. I think apart from that, we should touch upon Australian batting, because they've been struggling for a long time. I personally believe, even when they played India, if India had a better third bowling option in the tour, India could have dominated that. You could see even in the first test, India dominated off the ball because Australia struggled to score runs. I don't know about
Mm.
Sri Lanka; it's a total different story. But coming back to, this game, you could see both innings they struggled, bro. I think that's where the game changed, because we spoke about it before also. I personally think both of the batting lineup is the weakest point if we have to look at it. But Australian, no one turned up. Like, you look at it, nobody really turned up. Like, when it mattered for them, it was only Smith who, in the first inning, it was Smith. Second innings, you couldn't help it. But yeah, I think that's where we have to talk about this game changed in terms of you just need one, two players to come and score runs, like just an extra 30, 40 runs. But no one really did. No one even hit a half century apart from Stark. If Stark is scoring, 50 runs out of the bat for you, and then you have Hazelwood is there for 60 balls. He was there for 60 straight balls. So, like, I think that was the issue. Like, I think the batting balance was messed up. I think we spoke about this before. I just
Mm.
don't think Labuschagne was the right opener. I struggle to see what difference was him putting him as a number three versus opening, because I'd rather have a number three where he's in a favored position and not screw up the batting balance of the other players. I still think Head could have done a better job as an opener. Everyone said his number five is his best position. He didn't do anything at number five. Like he struggled. Both innings, he also struggled. It was not like there was such a huge difference. I would have taken the risk of playing Head as an opener because he did play against Sri Lanka also, even though if it is in different conditions. But he did perform. He's also opening for them in the T20 format. He's an opener even in the ODI format now. Even ODI format, he was a number four before. Now he's become an opener. So I think he could have adapted to it. But yeah, bro, I just think their batsmen didn't show up. Like I don't know from what angle, like from where you can see, apart from maybe Smith, who could come and play. But for me, I think the best batsman apart from Smith was Carey. I think I always rate him. I think he looked solid. In the first innings also, he looked very solid. It was a very stupid shot from where he got out. He shouldn't be
But
reverse
to be
sweeping
fair,
that.
that shot, he has been doing it for a while, especially against left-arm orthodox bowlers.
Yeah,
That reverse sweep is his go-to shot.
yeah,
He always
yeah.
sweeps. Like, and yeah, the reverse sweep was something new, but he every time the minute it leaves the left-arm orthodox bowler's hands, he goes down. So I knew there was a sweep coming, but yeah, the reverse
But that
sweep
was
was
the wrong
completely
ball.
like
That
wrong. Exactly, it was
was nothing,
completely
bro.
wrong line to play.
There was nothing ball, bro. It was literally like if you just played straight off your bat, you could have scored. You could have played it on the gap. There was no turn. There was nothing. It was almost like a full toss at ball. And yeah, like I overall, you look at the second innings. For me personally, looking at the blind eye, I would have given it not out because it looked like it's
Mhm.
missing and it looked like it had a lot of height, like the LBW call. For me, he got a bit unlucky with that also, in my opinion. But yeah, bro, Gary's not even now. I think he's been playing very solid cricket for Australia for a long time. I remember even in the India Test series, even at home, even when they came to India, he was a batsman who's always been consistent. I think apart from him, I don't know who you can sit and say, do these guys showed up in these England conditions? Mind you, it was hard. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say it was easy, but nobody was there. I couldn't see anyone wanting to stay there. That's the thing. Like I think everyone, the way Australia got out in the second innings, I think most of it was just lazy shots. Like overall, like they didn't adapt to the conditions. I don't think they even understood. Like Cameron Green got out the same bowler twice, same way, same slip. It was a second slip both the times. It was no difference. Like I don't know what you can say. Kawaja was similar. Same bowler, Rabada edge out. Like I don't know what else to say. Labuschagne edge out to Rabada. It was literally carbon copy. First innings and second innings. If you're playing a final, bro, last time they showed up against India, they scored 400, 450 odd runs with ease. And this time they were able to barely score 200 runs in both innings. Like barely, they barely struggled towards 200 runs. So yeah.
I mean, I completely agree with you in the sense Australian batting lineup in general has been, or the minute the lineups were announced, I could sense the imbalance. Like you take out Smith, I honestly didn't know where the runs were coming from because you are playing a one down batter at opening. You're playing somebody who has, like, for me at least, I feel Cameron Green does not have the technical prowess to play one down, to play the new ball, to see out the new ball. And there was an interesting point that Kevin Peterson, Nasser Hussain, and DK were saying that your one down batters and your openers are supposed to provide security to the team. Okay, you lose your first wicket, your one down batter who comes in is supposed to shore up the game. And I felt Mulder, although runs did not come, he ate up balls. First innings, he ate up almost 40 balls. Second innings, almost like something 50 balls. That makes a lot of difference because you are somewhat wearing out the new ball. And that makes a day and night difference for the rest of the batting lineup because if you are two down, you are three down, you are chasing the game. You are well beyond, like, we are well behind the game. And South Africa, in that aspect, had it covered to a much better extent than Australia because for Australia, it was the minute your first wicket goes in, it's like buy one get one. The second one comes with it, and Cameron Green, like I said, should I don't even blame him because I feel he can be better utilized coming much below the order, but you had Bo Webster playing there and who did well in the first inning, so I felt it was doing unfair to him. Like I never expected Cameron Green to do well, and I don't blame him for it because that's not his position. And like you mentioned, Labuschagne should have played to his strengths. If you can fit Smith at two down because you know this is where he gets his best output, this is where he does best, why don't you do that with Labuschagne as well? Why you, especially somebody who has been going through a rough patch, why you doing trial and error with him? And I felt okay, Khawaja, the first innings ball was brilliant. I have no complaints. Like that area where you don't know whether you should leave the ball or not. So, but the rest of the batters, I just felt simply were not like I don't know. I felt they were always looking for shots and getting out. Even Smith, for I felt played excellent. He anchored the game very well and then ended up throwing his wicket away to an overpitched ball to a part-time spinner, which he was also clearly agitated at.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
and then after that, it was pretty much a parade. And I knew for a fact that the minute Australia were going to come into bowl, it is overcast conditions. You have three of the best test bowlers bowling. It's going to be a struggle for South Africa, which it was. They peppered South Africa completely. At the end of second innings, I mean, first innings, like South Africa's first innings, I'm thinking, okay, this is Australia doing Australia things. The minute they felt they were under pressure, they are playing cricket the way they do. They are going to go right back at it, throw the pressure right back at you. And South Africa, it felt like a typical South African crumble yet again. And all of a sudden, day three, bro, I feel day three is where things completely changed, and that had a lot to do with weather. And I was looking at another parade for Australia. Like, I'm not even going to go into the Australian second innings top order because the story was pretty much the same. Like, the two out of the top three getting out to Rabada the same similar way. And then Travis had a brilliant ball from Mulder up until Carey's and whose was it? Stark's partnership.
yeah, yeah,
And the minute clouds went off, the minute the sun came out, it was like a completely different pitch. It was like a completely different scenario because the ball is not doing much. There is almost no lateral movement. Plus, it is keeping low. And
yeah,
when it's keeping low, they're nicking off 5-10 balls. Nothing is traveling to those slips. Nothing is traveling to the keeper. After that, it was entirely the Australian tails game. Stark is cover driving. Stark is punching off of the front foot. It's clean strokes. And
yeah.
at that point, I was hearing this, like I was like they show this on camera, which the great cricketer also like mentioned afterwards that there was a cover drive from Hazelwood. The minute he hit it, Aiden Markram smiling and applauding because it was
Yeah,
almost as if they knew what was coming. Because if the sun were to keep out, it was going to be a flat track.
yeah, that's
And
true.
if Stark and Hazelwood could stay out for this long, it was going to be a long day for Australia as well. But the job was not done, which
Hmm.
again, I feel this is like we were discussing about Markram's relevance in the team and how it was time for him to step up. And to be fair, he did. This was probably his greatest test innings, and I don't think it'll come at a at a bigger stage. So yeah, fair enough. Where did you feel the game turned on its head? Because for me, it was day three where the lights, I mean the sun came out and then the pitch flattened.
Bro, yeah, bro. Like, see, I think the toss was important because I think everyone knew after day two, by the end of
Hmm.
day two, day three, especially there was sun hitting from day one. Like, you could see, like, in the second half of every day, you would have a lot of sunshine. Same thing happened day two. So almost full day was full of sun. And day three also, day three, day four, you could see, like, the pitch flattening up. It was the conditions were becoming more stable for batsmen because when I was watching Carey bat, then when I was even Cummins could have played well. He got out to a very good ball. Like, I feel like if that ball was not what he faced, I think Cummins would have stayed for a longer time. Just from that view, right? And overall, yeah, you could see that the ball was also an old ball when Hazelwood, Stark were batting. But in all honesty, the pitch was ready, bro. Like, I think we all knew, like, that's the thing. Like, not only us, like the viewers, even Australia knew that day three, day four, day five is when the batting pitch becomes better. You just need to wait it out and let's start playing there. You know, for example, on day three, there were 66 for six, for example. Like, they didn't need to be in that position, knowing that you've only played one day of cricket, Rishi. Like, they finished one day, 1.5 days, they're coming back to bat. They know they have 3.5 days left. I still don't understand why they had to. dude, like there was a point of time when you had Pujara, Dravid, like whatever Test cricket where you could just leave the ball 100 balls and I would be fine with it. Like you look at Bavuma in the first innings, like he even Mulder for an example, like they were 0 for 30, 33 balls. They were okay to play those balls. Fair enough, they didn't get the runs out of it, but they were okay to be 0 of
In
35
day
balls.
one, day two, if you're playing second innings or first innings of the second day, you are well within your rights to leave 30 balls. You have no problem.
Exactly, exactly. I don't know why even Labuschagne was trying to drive the ball a lot of times. He got lucky in that second
Yeah.
innings also. He was trying to drive a lot. He was trying to play the line of the ball, which he didn't need to because, bro, I don't understand this. Like, okay, all these test matches, you need to put it out. It's a one-off test match. It's a finals. Like, what is the urgency for you to bat and score runs when you have a 90-run lead? When you know South Africa are under great pressure because it's the only chance to win a trophy in terms of a world championship. They've never been a world champion of any format. This is the first time they had that opportunity, and they
And on
got
top
out
of
so
that, they are like 130 all out in the first innings. Every kind
exactly.
of pressure is on South Africa.
Exactly. Everything is on South Africa. Now you have two batsmen who've not played well for a while, like Labuschagne and Khawaja, and they've not been playing well. So what do? You just adapt to the conditions, play as long as you can. Bro, if you scored 10 out of 10, 15 runs out of 100 balls, I don't think anyone's going to get angry at you. Like, I don't think comments is going to come look at you and be like, bro, what are you doing? Nobody's going to do that in a test match. Khawaja, the way he got out, it is literally carbon copy of the same first
Yeah.
innings. Green, literally carbon copy. Even Labuschagne, literally carbon copy. Comes out of his leg stump. He tried to. I don't know what he was trying to do. Like, bro, you don't have to play the ball. You can just leave it. Why are you so agitated to play the drive? Like, you don't have to drive the ball. You're with Smith. Smith and him were batting together. You can just take your time. You know, you two are good enough to bat 100 balls without scoring a run if it comes down to it. Smith has done that before. Labuschagne specialized in that to an example for Australia. Why don't you do that when you have the opportunity? See, even with Labuschagne, we can say he was opening. It's a new position for him. But when you've played 60 balls into the test match, two wickets have fallen. You can't tell I'm opening, I'm not able to take the conditions. You've been there for 60 balls, you know the conditions. Just leave it. Like, you know the game state. It was day two. It was literally day two. You don't have to go play those shots. Like, there was no need for it, right? And by day three, they were almost done. Like you could see, like they were literally fighting for what they had to, right? By the end, it was like Stark and Hazelwood are there at the beginning of day three, where they're coming and trying to score runs for you. I still don't understand the game plan with Australia, bro. I think with the bowling, you can't blame them. Like, bro, the way the top three ballers ball in the first day, the way they set them up, in going into the second innings, Australian, bro, I think we India had the same problem. Like bowlers set them up in the Australian series, and then
Nobody
batsmen
just
failed
could last.
heavily. It
The
is
batters
literally
couldn't
carbon
last.
copy. Like,
Yeah.
bro, they set them up so well. You have a 90-run lead going into the second innings. What is the hurry for you to score runs? It's day one and a half. It's not even day two, bro. I was getting annoyed in the way Australia were trying to bat. They were so edgy with the batsmen. I think I think you can blame Cummins and you can blame the coaching staff. I think you have to look at guys like Vettori, um, whatever, George
Jonathan.
Bailey, whoever the coaching staff is, like, because you don't have any pressure to score runs, bro. You're the defending champion. You have the edge. You know you've always been in the finals and always dominating those finals. I still don't get the game plan with the batsmen. Even with the likes of Head, which we expected them to play well at number five, they were lazy. First innings, he was the lazy shot. He got out. Second innings, same thing. He was pretty agitated. I get it was a good ball. It was angling into him. But yeah, I can't help it. Like you look at everyone, they batted very poorly. It cost them dearly. Like it just cost them dearly. When you're going into, your fourth innings, only 2.5 days done, and you have 280 runs to chase, even with the way the pitch turned, bro, I really thought like I could see no way where South Africa would fumble this no matter what. Like we have to talk about the way they batted, but I really couldn't see any form of difficulty for South Africa to chase that because the way the president said, if Stark is scoring 50 runs, if Hazel would play 60 balls, you could see the pitch was fine to play, and it showed like the wickets, like Stark got, they were all beauties, bro. There was no swing, there was no seam on the ball. It was literally
Yeah,
just
I was
choosing.
just gonna say, like, the only person who couldn't have complained about losing their wicket on both occasions, on both innings, was Tristan Stubbs, because I felt Both the balls he faced, he did everything right. First innings, a ball from Josh Hazelwood hits the seam, just deviates. He has there's quite literally almost no gap between bat and pad. A solid front foot defense, but hits the top of off stump. Second innings, a ball from Mitchell Stark angling inside, hits the top of off and leg. You pretty much could not do anything about both the balls. Like Stubbs, yeah, like the second innings, the wicket goes. He's just standing there and smiling. Like, what more can I do? He's probably gotten two like balls of the games. Like, it's you can't ask or you can't complain. But I feel, yeah, others right from the top, questions need to be asked from the batting order, the batting selection as well, especially because the both of us, like, yeah, we were like, there were in the comments also, like last game they were saying, okay, Cameron Green has to play, Bo Webster has to play, and this is going to be the Labuschagne is going to be opening. While we were like, is this going to be the best possible option for Australia? And clearly it backfired. Why did you really have to select Cam Green and Bo Webster when Webster in both the innings, South African innings together, put up, so like bowled 8 overs in total. Cameron Green 0. We know Cameron Green is not a top order batter. You forced him one down, like in a
He's
one
never
off
played
test.
number three before. He's never
Yeah,
played number three before in Test.
exactly. You know me. I've never been Cameron Green's like the biggest fan of Cameron Green, but I can't. I'm definitely not going to blame him for this test performance because you're asking him to do something he's never done, and it is not his role. Like you might as well ask some Alex Carey to go opening, like because that is how different the roles were. And if that is what you wanted, why did you pick Cameron Green? Why did you send Labuschagne opening? And why did you have Webster scored 70, but I'm sure if Cam Green were to play that low down the order, he could have also done it. You in a one-off test, why are you protecting Travis Head so much? If it's a five test series, I can understand that. Okay, he will come important somewhere. You cannot keep sacrificing him opening, but in a one-off test, if you have somebody who has opened in the past, that is Travis Head, you might as well play him because in the process of hiding him like from the new ball, you are just jeopardizing the rest of the batters. So I feel the selections, like I felt Inglis would have done a much better job, like
Yeah,
especially if he were
true.
to come a little bit low down the order. If you
Bro,
want somebody,
same.
yeah, you
Yeah,
were
sorry,
saying,
sorry. Yeah, I think it's the same thing. For me, it's more of, as you said, like English could have done a better job because, for example, if the batting order was something like, okay, let's say Kawaja Head opens, I think they can complement each other. They've had that experience of playing together before. Like, in test, having a good partnership and having that trust with your partner also helps. And having Labuschagne as a number three, let's say he doesn't score runs, but I can trust him to stay for 60 balls, which he did to
hmm,
an extent as an opener also. Him coming one down, let's say 5-10 overs later, okay, if he was the number three, I can trust him to stay there for another 60, 70 balls if it comes down to it. But Cameron Green didn't do that, bro. He got out in the same over two times in a row. And you
he's
see
faced I
that.
think 4 balls in the test.
Exactly. And that's the issue. Like, it was the same ball. You look at it,
Yeah,
he couldn't adapt at all. He's been playing county cricket in England, but he did score centuries. But you look at that, the position he played, it was a number six. That is where you generally see Carey, Webster coming in. He's never faced a new ball, bro. He's coming in within the first 10 overs to face the new ball. And those conditions are, the best batsman would find it's difficult to score runs in that. You need a guy who's been there before, played number three, has the experience, has the patience. Green is under pressure. He's coming here to feel the ball. He wants to understand the conditions. Two times he just played the drive. Not even like he was not even fully committed. Both of the edge went to Markram. Literally the same guy. Like there's no point of playing number three. I still don't understand where Green became a number three out of nowhere. It's like India suddenly we need a number three. Let's say punt. Let's just send punt number three. That's how they did it. Like it was literally a loose call. Like you can't take out Labuschagne because of whatever you need as an opener. I think number three is more important than opening your opening pair in test series because number three, number four sets you up for the entire series because I mean entire test game, right? And yeah, I just don't think I don't understand why they played Green. Like that still like baffles me because if English, for example, came where Head came, or even if Green came when Head came, I think they could have played a bit better than where they actually played.
Yep. And Nikhil Jagdalian comments saying the reason they were playing those shots in day one and day two were because the batsmen had lost trust in their technique, so they were looking to score runs. Yes, this is true because after second, like when the second innings was happening at the end of stumps, I think it was Vian Mulder who came in the post day conference, and he was saying that what is the difference like that I think this was end of day three where the game was pretty much done. So Mulder had come, and I think it was Nazar Hussain who asked him what was the difference in the mindset going into innings one and two, and Mulder like said the same thing, that they were so focused on getting runs on the board that they didn't care. They didn't play the ball by its merit. They were just looking to score runs. If you're there for 10 balls, score runs in those 10 balls. And the second innings, their mindset was okay, like we're going to put aside what happened in the first innings. You just play ball by its merit. You play each ball to its own. And that is what made them play with a little bit more patience and not go after the scoreboard, not to chase the scoreboard. And yeah, that clearly showed there was no urgency from the batsmen as such. And Rickleton, again, I feel slightly unfortunate with the way the ball just hit and rose up. That usually wasn't happening when, if you see the pitch how it was working out. But yeah, overall, bro, I again one more player I feel like I have to mention is Bauma. Like the kind of pressure he's been under, the kind of criticism he has been facing for a while, and I feel to an extent rightful, because I was having this conversation with a couple of friends of mine, and like again for a while now, and after the test match, and we were discussing Temba Bauma, his contribution and his importance for the team. And he was not, like known to score against somewhat, you'd say, the lesser teams, like the lesser down the table, and not be there, or not in fact play against the bigger sides. And to be fair, I feel this game he led by example, played pretty much with a hamstring injury, played a captain's innings, bro. I don't know what else to say, because of course Markram had that brilliant 100, but I feel Bauma's contributions went just as important, because you had to see through that day. A wicket falls, Australia right back on top, because the next day the bowlers are going to hunt in like a pack of wolves. So it was very, very important, and I feel their partnership was what turned the game. Because you lose a wicket at that point, either one of Markram or Bauma, the game completely changes. So I feel
Yeah.
Bauma's performance, considering he was not able to run, he was limping, and that performance should receive the respect that he one would get. If not, I feel because it is Bauma, the achievement goes under the radar. And Rupam Burman saying Temba Bauma say Sikho Rohit Sharma test captain karna. Temba Bauma better test captain than Rohit Sharma. Is that really fair? I mean, that you can pretty much say that what Hardik Pandya is a better T20 captain than Virat Kohli because he's won the IPL. Like, come on, that's a bit rudimentary. Now, if Australian batsmen had done a little bit better, if they had played the pitch little bit more maturely, you're gonna say what Temba Bauma is not a good captain. I feel, because from a captaincy perspective, there were a point, like a couple of points in the game where I felt, what is he doing? Because I remember, who was it? I think Carey or Khwaja, one of them were nicking it down the leg to the of the spinners. I think Markram or Keshav Maharaj. Twice
It
it
was
nicked,
Maharaj. It was Maharaj.
yeah, and then twice it nicked. Bauma placed a leg slip over there,
Yeah.
and then I think it was Carey, and Carey
It was
swept.
carry. That's why he tried to
Yeah,
sweep.
Carey swept Maharaj for a four down the leg. I think the square leg. He immediately moved that leg slip from leg slip and put him at square leg. The next over, this happened again. He put him back to the, like, it was like even DK mentioned it. Like, this is pretty much like what you're doing is following the ball. Like, where the ball goes, you're going to place a fielder there. Like, what? Like, do you not have a plan? So again, from a captaincy perspective, you can't really say that based off of a one-off game if XYZ is better or not. But I felt the batting performance he put up was, I hats off to Bauma. And
Mhm.
Vivan saying I felt Bauma's first innings was goated. It ensured, yeah, exactly what I just said. Like, I feel their partnership was the pivotal point, and in the entire test. And I feel this comes at a very big reward for South Africa, in the sense who was, I think it was Mark Boucher, saying that this is going to have a lot of impact, positive impact for South Africa if they had won the test, and this is what has happened. And I hope this is a turning point for them. This promotes more test cricket in South Africa. And Adi, what do you think about, who do you think is, or according to you, is the man of the match? Because for me there are two obvious shouts. Although Cummins put up the best bowling figures ever by a captain or by a bowler, I think in Lords, I think it's by a captain, but 6 for
It's by a
28.
captain. It's by a
Yeah,
captain.
by a captain. But for me, the two obvious choices are Markram and Rabada. The nine for the areas he was hitting was just imperious. And on the other hand, you have Markram, who has just anchored the entire innings. The second innings has just like pretty much held South Africa's hands and got them across the line. So who do you, like? For
Yeah.
me, it's too difficult. Who do you think is the man? Should like is the man of the match according to you?
Yeah, bro. I think again, South Africa, you look at the entire team. I think certain players were poor to an extent. I think their openers with Rickleton didn't play well both innings. I think Stubbs, I was disappointed in the way he played. Like I think coming into yesterday, I think he should have just finished the game after Bavuma got out. He could the conditions were there for him to play. You know, it was a beauty. I can't lie. That ball was a beauty. Like hitting the bails off. It was a very good ball. But I would have expected more from Stubbs from the position he was playing. He was playing number 5 this time, right? Bavuma coming ahead of him. But overall, I think it has to go to Markram, bro. Like, fair enough, Rabada had great numbers, 9 wickets. He was a bit expensive, but still, like, I mean, getting 9 wickets in 2 innings, I think that's literally, and you were getting the main or top order for against Australia in the both innings. I think that was very well assured. But if you put into context, the pitch was helping him a lot, right? Even Australian bowlers like Hazelwood was, I think, was great. Like Stark was great. He was sharp, very sharp in the first innings. Cummins, he swept all the bottom order when it mattered, and finished off the job as it needed, right? So for me, would I say okay, Rabada bowling was impeccable? I would say he's a great bowler. He is one of the world class bowlers in the world. The pitch, the conditions helped him. He got the best out of it. Look at Australia bowlers, the three world class bowlers did the same in the first innings, right? And you can say the same in the second innings. I think Stark showed up in the last innings also. But for me, it was Markram just for the fact that he was the one who got Stark out, bro. Like you're a part timer. Let's look at the first innings. He did get duck out, and it was a bad shot. I mean, whatever it is, like this wicket was a bad wicket, right? But he's the one who got Steven Smith out. Like if that, it was a flighted pitched over pitched ball, but you need those kind of balls when Steve Smith is set, because if you're throwing a fast bowler against Steve Smith in those conditions, he's smart enough to not play that. Like he's smart enough to play the way he has to. He's not going to play it if it comes down to it. But and that's why I think Bauma's captaincy was very good, because he was brave enough to play Markram against a guy like Smith. He was okay to concede runs if it came down to getting a wicket, and Markram delivered it, bro. Like within the second over, he got him out, and it was a sharp catch by Jansen also, but it worked. Like the whole point was makes Smith come out, try to play on the drive. He did that. It just edged and went to the slip. I think going into the second innings, we saw what he did with the bat, but you look at it with the ball also. In the end, the Pacers were struggling against Hazelwood. Like Stark and Hazelwood could have stayed there the entire day if they wanted, because they were just playing off the ball pace. Bro, Hazelwood was just deflecting the ball. He was not playing any shots. He was just waiting to deflect the ball to score runs. Even with Stark, he was just trying to play it, you know, behind. He was just using the pace. He was just playing through the pace. So Markram came in the end. Within a second over, he got Hazelwood out, which took out pressure from South Africa, because they were 280. If Stark and Hazelwood crawled towards 300 runs, going into what your fourth innings, scoring 300 runs, there can be a mental block in your head. Okay, like we have to score 300 runs. 280 sounds better than 300. It's just a fact. Like when you're scoring 180, when you're chasing 180 in T20 versus 200, that mental aspect of okay, 200 is the magic number. It comes to your head. Even 300, you can say okay, 300 is a big task. But if I say 280 to chase, it sounds a bit better. And obviously 20 runs less is a bit better, right? And getting those two, I think it was two pivotal wickets as a bowler what he got, and with the bat, bro. Like that's the thing. I feel like South Africans, apart from Markram and Bauma, I think the top order played the pitch very bad in the day in the later stages of the test match. I think Rinkelton also was a very poor shot in the way he got out, in the second innings. He was just searching for the shot. Uh,
Yeah.
Wilder, I just don't think he's good enough as a number three. He did his best. Like I actually feel for him. Like he did his best. He stayed as long as he could, right? Both the test
Mhm.
matches. But yeah, I think that's where Markram showed, like scoring 136 in the final. When the pressure's under you, and your team has never won a world championship like in any format. Like South Africa have been craving for this forever, like forever, and doing it in such a pivotal stage. I think I don't think any other batsman could have done it. And the matter of fact is, though he was under pressure, people were doubting him. People were like, "Can he deliver it?" And he did deliver it. And I think the same thing will go with Bauma also, because bro, you're playing against three world class seamers in a finals. You have a, I think he had a torn hamstring. I don't know what it was, but he did have a hamstring injury. You could see him struggling between the wickets when he was running. He literally couldn't finish his runs. He was limping every time. And staying and scoring that solid 60, I think that matters a lot. Even in the first innings, scoring 36, scoring 30, whatever he scored, I'm sorry, I can't remember, but that mattered a lot. Those 36, 37 runs in the first innings gave a bit more leeway for South Africa, because the way they were batting the first innings was very poor, like South Africa.
36.
So I
Yeah.
think for me, these two were the MVPs, and I personally think Bauma captained it better than Cummins did. Like if we were
Of
talking
course.
about it, I think he was able to adapt it to conditions helped him, but as a captain, he showed just better adaptability. And Cummins, bro, like you could see by the end of day three, four, like by the start of day four, they were done. They were all smiling. I think Australia came in yesterday knowing that they lost a test match, which is kind of
Mhm.
obvious. But I think I think Cummins could have used Green better. I don't know if Green was balling or not. I think he could have bowled some overs. He could have utilized Webster,
He
because
didn't. I mean, he hasn't bowled this test, by the way.
yeah,
Green
he did.
hasn't bowled, and Webster bowled a total of 8 overs in this entire
Exactly.
test.
I think he could have used Webster more, because Webster did well. I remember even in the Indian series, like he did get
Yeah.
crucial wickets when it mattered. And I think you could have used them well when guys like come in. I mean, when guys like Stark, Hazelwood, it's just not working for you. You could see,
Mhm.
I think Hazelwood was exhausted by the last, like in the last innings. Like I think he was not there to bowl. And you could have utilized Nathan Lyon more, just for the fact that there was a bit of turn. You could see the pitch. They suddenly had a lot of turn. Also, you could have used them a bit more. I think he should have just been able to adapt to those conditions better. But yeah, I think South Africa deserved it, bro. Like just for
Mhm.
Markram and the way Bauma played, I think that's what showed the difference. Both his innings, in context of going through an hamstring injury, whatever it was, I don't know what it was, but he did show that, like I think he deserves his respect now. You can't even tell anything. Winning the first ever championship for South Africa, especially in test, when in the final where they've never really been able to win finals, and in the way they did against this Australian team, against these three top seamers, I think Bauman deserves all the credit in the world. Like, and mind you, it's not only this test match. You look at South Africa; they come into this with an consecutive 8 wins.
Eight game winning.
Yeah,
Yep.
it is not like they've just started in the end, and because of India's downfall is why they came into the finals. They played their games whoever they had to play, and they won all the 8 games. We can sit here and say, bro, most all of them were at home, but India just had to finish New Zealand 3-0, 2-0 to be in the finals. We wouldn't have this final today if India finished their test series at home, right? You look at
Mm.
Australia, even they did not lose, but they were not able to convert against West Indies, etc. at home. So like, bro, winning 8 test matches in a row, wherever it is, it's still very hard to do. Like, it's not that easy.
That's true. That's true. NY Times Square saying it's rubbish to say Bauma has only scored against weak team. In the previous show, that Bauma averages 40 plus against all of Aussie bowling bounces only the weakness in his game. Not really, because okay. Overall, of course, I would say that he's not. Of course, a rubbish is a very, very crass term to use against a batsman of his caliber, but he averages 38 in South Africa, which I feel is very good, because for me, I think from a batting perspective, South Africa is one of those treacherous batting pitches to play. Like, you don't know what is going to happen, and to have 38 is very good in South Africa, but the minute you step outside, it is a bit iffy. And you take this particular cycle, this 2023 to 25 cycle, I'm going to read out the stats of Bavuma in this cycle. So the first series was the South Africa India tour of South Africa, and he did not play the tests. The next one was South Africa tour of New Zealand, which basically they sent their second, third string, whatever it is. So the senior players pretty much didn't play. The third one was a two-match series versus Bangladesh in Bangladesh. Sorry, a two-match series in West Indies versus West Indies in West Indies, in which he scored 86, 15, 0, and 4. Then the subsequent series was a two-match series versus Bangladesh in Bangladesh, which he did not play. After that, two-match series in Sri Lanka versus Sri Lanka in South Africa, where he scored 70, 13, 78, 66. After that, a two-match series versus Pakistan in South Africa, where he scored 31, 40, and 106. Okay, you have 186 against West Indies in West Indies, after which your scores are 70, 113, 78, 66, and 100 versus Sri Lanka and Pakistan. Like, I'm not calling this rubbish, but you are not facing a swing bowling New Zealand side in Auckland or Christchurch. You are not facing the likes of Anderson Broad in England. You are not. This is not the same as facing Hazelwood Stark, Cummins in Australia, or Jasprit Bumrah anywhere in the world. Like, this is a different, like, these bowlers. Of course, you can say that Sri Lanka, when they're turning corners, it's a different case. But these numbers which I mentioned is the reason why I'm saying these are against your weaker sides. Because when somebody like your Shubman Gill or Rohit Sharma does this at home, we're all sitting and saying, okay, home track bully, home ground bully. The minute they step out, they are struggling. But then when Bavuma is doing this, you're saying, okay, no, it's okay, look past that. Now, I'm not saying Bavuma is like bad or home track bully or anything. I feel South Africa, it's unfortunate that they're playing in South Africa as your home stadium, big home ground or home country, because it is one of the toughest places to bat in. So his home record, brilliant, but it's just this cycle, I can't help but notice that you are facing the weaker sides. You are scoring big runs against the weaker sides, and you're missing out on playing when you have only two, big nations who you're playing against, and you're missing out both of them. It is what it is. I'm not saying anything out of my hand. I'm not spreading misinformation. I just read out the numbers that he has already scored. So yeah, that's. But again, I'm repeating again. That being said, Bauma, a proper captain's performance. Like, I can't say anything more. Like, he has just, like, I can't say anything against him anymore, nor can the haters. What do you say? Like, he's on both the innings, he's anchored, he has done what is needed, made sure South Africa were in a secure position and like playing through injury. I have nothing more to say. So yeah, and Vivan saying if Cameron Green was not there with the ball, then Constis is a way better option. Yeah, that's one of the things we discussed. Either Constis or Josh Inglis would have been a better option, because why did you want two all-rounders, especially like shoehorning one at one down, like when that is your, like, your prime position, like the likes of Jonathan Trott, the likes of Rahul Dravid, the likes of the great, or like one downers, they are specialists who come and shore up your innings. That is what your team requires you to do, and you're filling in an all-rounder who's never played in that position is a questionable decision by the management. By looking at the Lord's pitch, which bowler should India choose for playing 11 against England? Who do you have there?
I think
Now
we'll
that
talk about this later on. I think this is
that's
more
true.
about World Test Championship. I think we'll just talk about how South Africa and Australia. But yeah, again, bro, I think overall, like, so Australia, I think Cummins couldn't adapt towards the end. I mean, towards the entire game, I think Australian batsmen couldn't adapt. And I really think overall, I don't know if it's because they came into this underestimating South Africa, or just the fact that they had less pressure because they already won the World Test Championship. They won the World Cup in the past 2 years. They've know they know they've been like one of the top teams, in both ODI and Test. I think did they come in a bit more complacent? I think there should be more questions with the Australian team, because you look at it, I don't think Cummins is the same captain he was. I
Mm.
think he only weirdly, I don't know why he only captains like crazily good as a captain and as a player, and his entire team just looks pumped up against India. And I don't know if it's a Rohit Sharma thing, because I look at I look at Cummins in the IPL as a captain, he looks very ordinary, bro. He just looks clueless. Like, if I have to be honest, like,
Mm.
you, for example, you have to compare someone like a Gill and Cummins. You look at them without any context before. If they're captaining their side, you might even say Gill is a better captain just based on what's happening on the pitch. It doesn't look like he has the full confidence. I mean, sure, it's an IPL game. Maybe he's the only foreign captain. Maybe for him, it's not that deep to go there, but he still has a pressure. Last year, his team was in the finals and they did get battered by, what? Sorry, not Shreyas Iyer. Shreyas Iyer and KKR, to be fair. And overall, I seen him struggling to captain, just read the games better. I think even last year in the T20, like overall T20 format, ODI format, I don't think he's been the greatest captain at the moment. And I can see that even in the IPL, I can just go on based on what I'm seeing. And again, coming towards this test match where you have the best bowling lineup, bro, you look at the way South Africa they had a Ngidi who, like, with all due respect, he bowled beautifully in the second innings. He's a guy who's not played. He was dropped by the test in the test side till the finals. Janssen, I still don't think if you put Janssen compared to the three bowlers Australia had, you can even compare him to that extent. Only Rabada is the only guy you can talk to in terms of bowling experience. And yeah, dude, I think he just should have been able to like adapt to this game more. I think Ocean, I think we were talking about how India had a bad performance, like, to be fair, an embarrassing performance in terms of batting in the last World Test Championship final, where they barely scored runs. Even we got out around 200 runs both the test matches. I mean, both the innings, and we basically failed. I think it was the same in this scenario. Like, they just didn't show up. No one showed up as a batter. Changing again, I still don't understand where Cameron Green as a number three. What they were able to see, we all said he's not a number three. You me discussed saying clearly, bro, Labuschagne is a number three. He's not an opener. Rather have Travis at opening, or else just get Constas. One of those two things. Like, don't try to change in a final, which is a one-off game, by getting in someone like Cameron Green, he's gone through his own injury. He hasn't played for a year, test matches, right? And he's never played number three. So yeah, bro, questionable decisions, but you can't do anything. Like, I think at the end of the day, South Africa did what they had to do. They thoroughly dominated overall, especially coming into the second innings. Like, both bowling wise and batting wise, they didn't really give any space for Australia. Like, I don't think Australia ever felt like they were in the game after, they were like, what, 66 for 6 in this third innings. I think from there was no hope for them. Even when they got Bauma out early yesterday,
Mm.
I think the only pressure that was there was by commentators. I think the commentators were the only ones who were trying to say, like, yeah, this pressure, this pressure. I think it was Matthew Hayden. He was trying to say, okay, they believe like they can get another week. Even when there was only 30 runs to win and they got stubs out, they're like, okay, this is their time. They believe this, that, bro. I think the game was done. You could see Cummins was just relaxed. It didn't look like, okay, we have 69 runs to defend. Let's just give it our all. Like, you get Markram out, Bavuma out. They were under pressure because, you go yesterday, listen to the interview of Bedingham and
Verena.
Verena after
Mm.
they won immediately. I think it was Kevin Peterson who went and interviewed him. Bro, they were saying, bro, I was scared to come back. I was scared to, both Bedingham, who played well, both innings, and
Mm.
Verena. They both were like, I was very scared to come back today. I really didn't want to come out and bat there. We were hoping Markram finishes. That was their own word. They were literally saying, we were hoping Markram finishes it. I was very scared. Imagine having like 50 runs extra coming into it. Like,
Yep.
if it was 120 runs to win, and then you have only Verena and Markram left as your batters, they would have been great pressure, bro. Like, even Verena yesterday, when they had 5 runs to win, 4 runs to win, 3 runs to win,
He
he
was
was
looking
struggling to play.
so
He was
fidgety. He was looking
struggling to
so
play.
fidgety.
Yeah, and bro, I remember we were just telling hit a four, finish it, finish it. But you could see Bedingham also was so nervous that he was defending the balls where he could hit. Like, he was
Yeah.
like, I'd rather take a single of each 10 balls and finish it than try to just hit a four, because I'm just too scared to hit the four. I could
Mm.
see that. And that's why I say, bro, like Markram and Bauma, like, crazy innings. Because if those two didn't play, whatever the conditions were, whatever the pitches were, I think if Markram and Bauma didn't play, like it would have been a totally different story. I mean, I couldn't see
Yep,
I
true.
couldn't see any scenario where Stubbs and Bedingham could finish it. I mean, I'm not saying they can't finish it; they have their quality, but the way the body language was and the way they came out and told, like I think Markram's innings has to go down as an all-timer, bro. So yeah,
That's true. That's true. That's true.
yeah.
And New York Times Square is saying, well, everyone is weaker than the team he plays for when they are world champion. I mean, if you really want to categorize, if you really want to put guys like Asita Fernando, Vishwa Fernando, Lahiru Kamara, Mir Hamza, Khurram Shehzad, Mohammad Abbas, Jaden Seals, Jomel Warikin, you want to put these bowlers in the same category as your Tim Southee, Matt Henry, Mark Wood, Stuart Broad, James Anderson, Mitch Stark, Hazelwood, Cummins, even Scott Boland or Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Shami in this, you want to put all of them in the same category, then I don't know what else to say, because obviously there's a day-night difference between the former bowlers that I mentioned compared to the latter. But anyway, South Africa also have the current batting side in test. Everyone, yeah, look, yeah, that's very true, because like as I was watching, I was like, okay, maybe if they turned this into a series, I was also feeling they might just look the most comfortable, because they have established batters. This crop of players have been playing together for a while now. They look settled, and they just have good talent pool filling in everywhere. Like you look at Australia now, they're filling in two all-rounders. They don't have an opener. If now it suddenly becomes a requirement, like before, like a little while ago, they really wanted Khawaja to retire, and now suddenly if Khawaja retires, they have no openers at all. Australia, they're gonna have to go back to playing with Nathan McSweeney at opening. Like, of course, he's also somebody who's gonna come in one down, two down, but that is what the situation is going to look like. And England batters having a younger generation coming through, and New Zealand are also, yeah, I would say South Africa right now probably have the best batting side amongst the big test playing nations. And yep, that's it. And Adi, one last question: where do Australia go from here, in the sense, okay, this test is over. If it were left to you, what are the obvious changes that you bring about for the Australian
So
test
for
side?
me, it's very simple. However harsh this might sound, whatever it is, me being an RCB fan, what I've been through, what I've seen of Daniel Vettori, etc. Bro, the way I've seen them build even SRH, with the players they had and what they could build this year and the squad they built,
I
bro,
can feel the pain in your voice, da.
I'm telling you, please, your Australia cricket team, you don't need Daniel Vettori, who's from New Zealand. First of all, I don't understand this concept of
Yeah,
having a
bro, it just
coach
gives
from
me a
New
very
Zealand.
big
Like,
ick watching other nations, like, players going, and like Stuart Broad was bowling consultant for South Africa. Like, I just know for a fact, you take out Australia, if it was any other team, Stuart Broad is not giving a hoot about who is like giving consult. This was a pure, this was the motive was pure hatred. Like, he just wanted to dunk one
exactly.
over Australia, and he's going and doing
Yeah.
this. Like, I
But
don't
but
understand people from other nations going in and
bro, I don't, bro, even I don't get, like, McCallum having, I mean, England having McCallum as a captain, or
McCallum, yeah.
even when India were looking to appoint Ricky Ponting, who I think could be good as a young coach for young players.
Young
But
players, yeah,
bro,
yeah.
your Indian national cricket team, you have enough brains in it. Anyways, that's a different topic. But
Bro,
coming back
and
to Australia,
Ricky
you
Ponting,
are
do you people not remember the kind of horror shows that he has given us, the nightmares that he's given us? Like, umpires were literally asking him if it's out, and he's
exactly.
giving, like, how can you go
Bro,
back to such a
I
character
think this
to
is the
be our
problem
coach,
with,
bro? Like, come
yeah,
on.
it's a problem with IPL, bro. I think the IPLification of cricket itself makes, like, Punjab fans love Ponting, like Indian fans can love Ponting, bro. Like there are Indian fans who love Warner, bro. Me, I used to hate Warner. Like I used to hate him so much because he used to disrespect every time. For example,
That
India played him. Bro, he
sandpaper
used to
gate
not care
changed him.
about
Before
India,
that,
like the Indian
he
team.
was an animal, like, of course, in a good way and a bad
Exactly.
way.
Exactly. And again, bro, I'm fine when you're having teams like Afghanistan, even now Pakistan, let's say Sri Lanka, going out and getting coaches. Because, okay, sure, like you can get different perspective when you're struggling as a side that you're struggling and you have to find a way.
Hmm.
But you're Australia, bro. You were literally world champions of both Test cricket and ODI. You were T20 world champions
T20 also, yeah.
in 2021, 2022. You don't need to go to Daniel Vettori. Bro, I'm telling you, like, the amount of things I've seen from Daniel Vettori with RCB, giving Virat Kohli an over against Albie Mokel in the semi-final, bro. Like, who even does that? Like, things like that is it's the most weirdest things you'll ever see. You don't need to do that. And you have enough cricketing brains in Australia. You have guys like Ponting. Why are you not making Ponting your one of your coaches? Dude, that it's as good as it gets. Like, look at what Ponting did with a side like Punjab. Even Delhi, they got better under Ponting. With Punjab,
Yeah.
they came to the finals. Not even that. He is your legend. Why are you not treating your own guys at the right way? Like, you can put them as a coach, see what happens. I think that really needs to change, because I feel like Cummins is struggling a lot as a captain. I don't know if it's just as a captain. I don't know if he has to do a lot of things. I don't know what it is, but for me personally, change in your head coach will do a lot good for them. I don't think Vettori is a head coach, but yeah, just change your coaching staff overall. Like, I think it needs, because they're struggling even in ODIs. Look at them, they're struggling in ODIs, they're struggling in T20s. It's not something new for them,
Mm.
and they're going to go into a transition phase, bro. Like, I don't see how where Kavaja is. I don't think he lasts after this Test series. I really struggle to see that. Now
But
you have
who else is there, yeah, right? Because right
bro,
now
Kavaja. I think
the
he's
only one
going
I
to retire
trust is
anyways.
Kawaja. Like
Bro,
he's
Kavaja's
the only
been
natural opener. Like who they don't have anybody else.
he's the national opener, but he's 39. He's pushing 40. I think he's going to retire anyways. And looking into your next cycle, you can't take Kavaja, go into a new World Test Championship cycle where I don't think he'll last for the entire, championship cycle anyways. So you have to
Mm.
change your openers. You have to start integrating Constas, which I think will take a lot of time. It's going to be tough for them in terms of Constas. Only thing that's set for them is their bowlers, bro. Like, their three bowlers. I think I don't know about Nathan Lyon. I think he would end up playing. I don't know if he'll play this cycle. Like, if he goes out, who's going to come and replace him? I don't know. But yeah, I think this will be Australia's, like, these three bowlers: Stark, Hazelwood, Cummins. I think this will be the last cycle of Test cricket for them together. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and maybe even Steve Smith is going to be his last cycle for sure. I don't think him playing more. I think Head needs to start stepping up because he's very young, bro. He's only 30, 31. He's basically Markram's age. He has another 3, 4 good years. I don't know if he'll take test cricket as serious as he does one day internationals.
Mm.
And guys, bro, they have to start looking at young players. Like, even Labuschagne, you can't replace him, but you have to start looking at him also a bit. And yeah, I think guys like Inglis, Constas will need to start stepping up into the test side, need to, start playing well in this format, because if Australia really care about test cricket the way they say, they need to start integrating these guys as players and change something. It's not working out for them. They don't have any openers right now. They really don't know. I don't know what they're trying to do with their number three. Just play Labuschagne at number three. He's having a lot of pressure back home. If you look at Labuschagne, they actually wanted him dropped coming into this, and they were okay. Guys like Finch were like, straight up, it's okay if he gets dropped. He's not good enough. He's putting more pressure on the batsmen who come on later. I think that also affects you as a batsman, right?
Yep.
And yeah, bro, I think they have their own issues. For me, it's fine. I don't really care about it much in terms of they'll have to handle their own issues. Like, if they go through their issues more, I think it's good for cricket overall. You have better rivalries. And I think it's just good, bro. Have looking at Australia struggle overall. Like, you think it is a more fun than not fun. Like, they had this phase in even in 2018, 2019, where whatever happened, and
Mm.
they really were struggling. I think they might end up having that in the next 1 year, 2 years. But again, they have players like Steve Smith who India doesn't have. So I don't know, like, where we can also go. But yeah, I
Mm.
think more positives for South Africa if they continue this. That matters more, because you could see how important it was for them. Like, ABD came to the finals. Graham Smith was there. He was so happy. He captained the side where they were the number one in the world for a long, long time.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that's it for me. Do you have anything to say, or from your side?
That no. I'm pretty much only looking forward to the India tour of England. That is less than 6. That is 5 days away. I'm I do. I mean, of course, I am nervous, but I'm looking very much looking forward to what this new India side is going to be. And yeah, that's about it. Very excited for that, and we will be back for it,
Yep. Yep.
discussing what the sides, what the lineups are going to be for India soon. But up until then, thanks for joining, Adi. I will catch you soon. See you guys soon. That's it from us. Bye bye.